up all of your favorite recipes.
Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food.
Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Simply Food by TY, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make some bomb Creole salmon cakes. And honey, this ain't no salmon cake from nobody's can. We doing it from scratch. So as you can see, I have a lovely salmon fillet here that I'm going to place down into my cast iron skillet. Does not have to be in a cast iron skillet. You can use it. You can put it in a baking dish. That's totally fine as well. I've just added in 1 tablespoon of avocado oil that I'm going to spread all over the top. Number one, this is going to help make sure that the skin is able to come off of the bottom of the pan later on down the line, but also so that we can really get those seasonings to kind of soak down into our salmon. So let's season it up. So we're going to be using some garlic powder. Now you don't have to go too heavy on the seasonings right now, because later on down the line, we'll add in a little bit more. We're also going to add in some onion powder as well. Then after that, we're going to be adding in our Creole seasoning, which I'm going to be using the hot Slap Your Mama, but you can absolutely use the regular Slap Your Mama seasoning. And if you're unable to find that, feel free to use the Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Really, any brand of Creole seasoning should work just fine. But just be mindful of how much you're using at this stage, because you do not want to make your fish way too salty, okay? You can always add salt, but you cannot take away salt. So always keep that in mind. Now we're going to add in a little bit of black pepper. And then after that, you guys know that I love some paprika for color, so we're going to add in a little bit of paprika as well, and then top it off with some parsley. Now, I'm going to pop this in the oven, you guys, at 350 degrees for roughly about 20 to, actually not even 20 minutes. I would say almost about 18 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it just in case your oven runs a little bit hot. Once your salmon comes out of the oven, you're going to sit that to the side and allow that to start to cool off, okay? Right now, I'm breaking down about 1/2 of a sweet Vidalia onion. You don't need too many onions. Once you get those finely minced, you can sit those to the side. And then we're going to repeat the exact same step with our red bell pepper. Now, as far as what peppers you choose to use in this recipe, that's completely up to you. You can use red, you can use green, you can use orange, you can use yellow, you can use all of them. You know, if you're a really big vegetable person and you like, you know, having all of those multicolors, feel free to do that. I'm personally just going to be using the red bell pepper. Now, I did use the entire red bell pepper, just keep that in mind. So now we're going to go ahead and saute these down because I don't want too much of a crunch. So I added in about 1 tablespoon of our avocado oil with about 3 tablespoons of butter. And now I'm just going to break these down. I'm not trying to fry them up. You know, once they get a bit translucent and I can see, you know, that they're cooking down a little bit, then we can go ahead and remove these from the pan. Don't bother adding any salt or any pepper to them, because once again, once we get everything nicely mixed together, we'll add in a little bit more seasonings down the line. But as you can see, these have kind of cooked down quite nicely. You don't want to cook them for too long. You want them to still, you know, have some shape to them. I'm going to give you guys a little close-up shot of it so that you can really see what I'm talking about in a few moments here. Let's see if I scoop some up. I think I'm about to. Yeah, here we go. So you can kind of see this is kind of about like how you want them to be. So as you can see, you know, our salmon came out absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I cooked that for roughly about 18 to 20 minutes. And I allowed that to start to cool down. Now that it's a little bit cooler, you know, I didn't just take it right out of the oven and start shredding it, although it might seem that way because of all the steam. Now I'm just going to slowly start to break this down a little bit with my fork. Be careful that you're not scraping the bottom of your pan, because you want to leave all of the skin behind. None of the skin is going to go inside of our mixture. So, you know, just be careful. It honestly, if you cooked it properly, the fish itself, the meat itself should just easily separate directly from it, so that all you're left with is the skin. So now, as you can see, we've added in our meat in the same bowl with our veggies that we also allowed to cool. And now we can go ahead and break it down a little bit more vigorously now that we don't have to worry about the skin in it. Also, I want to say, depending on the type of salmon that you purchase, you want to make sure that you don't have any bones in there, okay? So, keep an eye on that depending on the type of salmon. Now that we got our peppers mixed in with our broken down salmon, now let's start to add in the last bit of ingredients. So I added in 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard. Feel free to also, if you would like, you could use the Zatarain's Creole mustard instead. That would add a nice little bit of zing to it, but I didn't have any on hand. I also added in, I would say, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of some nice mayonnaise. Do not use Miracle Whip. Use real mayonnaise, people, okay? So I would say anywhere between 2 to 3 tablespoons. We also added in 2 large eggs. And then, of course, y'all know me, I gotta always add in just a little bit more seasoning. So I'm adding in some more of that of the Slap Your Mama Creole seasoning. And if you want, you could also add in some more onion powder and garlic powder. And as you can see, I'm also adding in some more dry parsley for color as well. This would be a great time once you do get this mixed up, if you want to, just in case you're worried that your seasoning isn't the way you want it to be. You can make a tiny little salmon cake just to get a taste really quick, just to see if your mixture is right. But as you can see at this stage, it is very, very loose. And this is right. This is how it should look. It should not look very stiff at this stage, because if it is, when you do go to cook it later on down the line, they're going to be very dry. So right now you want this to be loose. The only thing left that we want to add to this is, I would say, about a half a cup. I use Italian breadcrumbs. You can use plain, that doesn't really matter. It's just that I always have Italian breadcrumbs on hand. Don't use too much of that. If you don't want to use breadcrumbs, you could absolutely use like club crackers, Ritz crackers. Just make sure that it's really finely broken down, okay? But as you can see, this is really, really loose at this stage. So what I like to do is I put the lid on it, I place it in the fridge, and I let it sit for roughly about 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours, or really as long as you want. You could let this sit overnight, but you don't have to. I would say 1 hour minimum, and that's totally fine. What that's going to do is it's going to allow it to firm up. As you can see, it's completely changed its texture. Now, once you form your patties, they won't fall apart and break apart in the oil. So definitely make sure that you place it in the fridge and let it get nice and cold, okay? So in this skillet, I have some avocado oil, and I've just added in about 4 tablespoons of butter. And now we're getting ready to start frying up these bad boys. We are in the home stretch. So as you can see, I'm making, I would say, about hamburger bun size patties. You could absolutely use these as little appetizers and make them very small. I'm serving them for dinner, so that's the way I'm going to be doing them. Once you place them in the pan, leave them alone. Allow them to cook on one side for roughly 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want your grease to be way too high, or you're going to burn them, because it is really easy to burn a salmon cake, okay? But allow them to sit on one side for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until you see one side of the your patty getting nice and brown, and then you can go ahead, be very gentle, and then flip them over and then allow them to cook on the other side for about 2 to 3 minutes as well. As you guys already know, everything in this is fully cooked besides the eggs. Your salmon is cooked, the veggies are cooked. So you don't really have to worry about anything being raw. It's just a matter of making sure that your patties are formed up nicely. You guys, that's it. That's how I make my Creole salmon cakes. Look, I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. If you're new to my channel, welcome to Simply Food by TY. If you're one of my returning subscribers, y'all babies know I love y'all so very much. And as always, y'all babies stay cute and take care. Y'all enjoy this recipe. Serve it up on a bun. Eat it by itself with some hot sauce and have a good old time, honey. Bye, y'all.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply